Come with me if you want to live. Artificial intelligence, smart, superior to fleshy bags of bones, capable of writing novels in the blink of an eye, and it doesn't even need coffee to do it. Is this a tool for good or evil? Well, let's head into the storm.
It's the raven's call, the werewolf's howl, the vampire's bite. You search through the woods for safety, but all you find is... Okay, rights.
Hello, writers, and welcome back to Spooky Writes. I'm your host, Kemal, Onor, and this is your channel all about writing. It's the advice that you need, but not necessarily... It's the advice that you need, but not the advice that you probably want. Now, a brief word from Ollivander, the spoofy owl.
Hoo-hoo, yes! You should subscribe and drop a like.
So one of the questions that I get asked a lot when I mention to people that I'm an author is what do I think about the possibilities of artificial intelligence replacing authors and replacing writers? In the past, I would typically give a short answer because I don't know you and I'm just trying to get home. But my response was always something along the lines of, it will work for those who don't currently read. And I think this is largely true to the degree that it just doesn't seem profitable to me. Plus, as an author, why would you want to be using AI tools to try and improve your writing? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe you think that by creating a book using an AI tool and then just stamping your name onto it is going to make you a credible author, but it's really not. And again, the idea of there being just so much money to be made in publishing is false, because I can tell you from experience there is really not a lot of money to be made in publishing unless you're extremely lucky, unless you're one of the top authors out there. There's very little money to be had for everyone else. Now, I know that writing well is very difficult, although some people might think, oh, you just need time, it's just so easy, just sit down and write your novel. But writing well takes time, and perhaps your story about a bland character who falls in love with a vampire might not be as good as you think it is. Poor baby. But maybe it's my own naivete that I believe that reading is that writing stories, and the main reason that most people read is for a human connection. Reading builds empathy. It allows you to put yourself into the mind of people who are not yourself. It allows you to feel feelings that someone else is going through while being at a distance, and it allows us to share, and sharing stories is so deeply rooted in human qualities that this can't be replicated to the same extent that an AI tool, I believe, will ever advance to. It might be able to turn out technical writing, but creative work, I don't see it happening for many, many years. And again, why would you want to use AI tools as an author? It doesn't make sense to me. If you feel that you just need to turn out as many books as possible to try and get your name out there, the number one thing that you need to be focused on is improving your own skills as an author. And how do you do this? Well, of course, you read a lot, you write a lot, you put in the time, and you put in the work. Otherwise, you're cheating yourself. And AI tools to generate books, at some point I don't see it never becoming profitable. I do believe at some point it will become profitable, and there will be this overflow of AI generated stories, AI generated tools. But is it going to actually relate to humans? Is it going to actually get to the core reason that humanity shares stories with one another? What is the main reason for sharing stories? Is it to prove that we were here? Is it to say, I have something that happened to me and other people are wanting to experience it? It doesn't make sense. I don't know who would want, I personally would not want to read a story that was created by an AI tool. And even if it's something that they don't outright put on the book, if they don't say this book was generated by an AI tool, it would be something that I would be very wary of, because I want to read work that's written by another person. I want to read work from authors who have experienced things, from authors who have gone through the struggles of life, and AI tools have not gone through that process. If you want to try and cut corners and you're working on just skimping out, and publishing houses, why would they want to pay programmers to have to continuously update these AI tools when they could be paying an author? Authors don't even make that much as is, so which would be more time consuming, which would cost more in the long run for publishing houses? Would it be to just pay an author, or would it be to be paying programmers to constantly update and monitor and come up with new tools with new technological advancements for AI technology? Because the struggle of being a human can only be truly understood by another human being. To understand what it's like to go through life, it requires the lived experience of a human. And this is why authors have to do so much work. This is why authors have to have life experiences. They have to get out into the world. They have to do things. They have to experience things. And if you don't have these experiences, if you don't have the ability to relate to readers in a way that is fundamental to human nature, it's never going to resonate with readers. Because the big reason why I don't see any of this being profitable in the long term is because people who read books, people who are avid readers, don't want to be reading AI generated work. They want to be reading work from other people. They want to hear the voices of real life human beings. And what market would AI written books be serving? Would it be serving people who aren't already reading? Because I believe people who aren't active readers, people who don't see much value in reading, aren't going to suddenly run out and be buying books that are written by AI robots. So what is the market for AI generated books, for AI generated stories? It might be able to replicate certain authors. It might be able to present itself in a way that seems realistic, but at its core, it's never going to be able to have the same struggle. It's never going to have those flaws that regular authors have in their own writing. Writing is not just the task of sitting down and putting one word after the other. Writing it's a journey of self-discovery, and if you don't have this journey of self-discovery, you're going to have a story that is thought out by a robot, and it's just going to go point to point. And they might at some point, years down the road, might be able to replicate human writing to a certain degree, but it will never be able to get to that level of humanity, of self-discovery. And mainly when I talk about self-discovery, it's because I've written so many stories where I have an idea at the beginning. I might think, oh, this is my protagonist character, and these are the obstacles that he or she is going to be facing. And I might even have an idea of how that story is going to end. I might have an idea of how it begins. And during the process of writing the story, of writing the work, of sitting down and thinking about this work, of ruminating on the idea, of getting to know my character better and better over the course of writing this piece, the work might change. I might start to adapt and gravitate towards my character suddenly starting to behave in a different way, to having my character succeed, as opposed to my original idea of maybe my character, I had originally planned for him or her to die at the end of the story. And through the writing, I start to realize that my character is a much stronger character, and it would force me to change the ending. So human writing is very adaptable. It's very flexible, and it will change over the course of writing the work. Whereas AI generated material, I don't see it ever being able to have that flexibility. I see it having, this is my idea and this is my result, but it's not going to be the same. It's never going to be able to replicate the struggle of humanity, and it will come across as inauthentic to me, And again, what's the market that AI generated material would be serving? Because it's not going to reach people who are already readers. It's not going to reach people who are writers. It's not going to reach artists. It's not going to reach a large population of the book buying public. And that kind of, in my mind, that leaves only the people who aren't reading already. And what's going to convince people who aren't reading? Again, we know that the average American reads maybe one book in a year, and so is that one book going to be an AI generated summer read, or is it going to be another Stephen King novel? Is it going to be another Nora Roberts novel? There are lots of authors out there who are very successful that I don't understand their appeal, my own naivete, but I think at some point it could become profitable. I don't see it becoming profitable in my lifetime. Publishing profits are already so low, and it doesn't make sense to me to try and cut out authors, to cut out human beings, to cut out to cut out authors, and instead shovel that money into programmers to have them update and constantly work with AI generated tools. Again, think about the flexibility. This is why you have editors. This is why you have publishing agents, because they are there not only to just correct your work, but they are there to help with the generation of the material. And so what? It takes longer. Writing is a process that doesn't happen overnight. It requires time to develop a story from start to finish. It should take time to go from idea to finished concept. AI tools lose all of this in their desire for mass products producing work, and it does not appeal to me. Maybe 20, 30 years down the road, when that's all that people know, when the mainstream audiences, the only books being produced anymore are AI books. But I don't ever see this being the case, because authors and stories, again, people who read want to read stories that have a human element to them. And even just knowing that a story is written by an AI generated tool is going to put a sour taste in my mouth. It's going to probably put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So my recommendation would be to don't focus on AI writing tools. There's a lot of the magazines that I submit my work to outright say we don't want any work that was generated via AI tools. So the best thing you can do is to focus on improving your writing. Read more books, write more, and that will help you improve your writing. AI tools, I think it's more of a fad than anything, but I imagine time will tell in the long run. I could be completely wrong, but again, these are my thoughts on AI generated writing tools. It doesn't worry me to think that other people and some people might be adopting AI writing tools, because I'm going to continue to focus on my own writing skill. I'm going to continue to write stories that resonate with me and stories that will resonate with my audience. And that's what you have to do. Focus on yourself, focus on your own writing, and the rest to me feels like noise. The rest is just kind of buzz on the periphery. It's the brand new tool, but none of this is going to have any real effect on my writing ability. My writing ability is my own concern. For me, I want to continue to get better as an author over time, continue to write more and better stories, and just continue to improve. And I will be the John Henry that stands against the AI writing robots. But let me know in the comments down below, would you read a book written by an AI writing program? Or do you believe that books should be written by humans for humans? And as always, keep it spooky. And of course, here's your writing prompt for sticking all the way through the video. The machine spoke to me in a voice that suggested blank. So set your timer and start writing. Thank you so much.